She always said marriage was a trap. Then she dropped to one knee and proposed in front of my whole family. I, 28M, have been with my girlfriend, Natalie, 27F, for almost 4 years. We met during a 4th of July barbecue at a mutual friend's place in Michigan. She's the kind of person who lights up a room, not just from her looks, but her laugh, her wit, her confidence. I was hooked from the moment she called out the host for burning the burgers and then took over the grill like she owned the place. We started dating that same summer. We clicked. It wasn't just the chemistry, though, yeah, that was definitely there, but we just got each other. She's fiercely independent, works in digital marketing, runs half marathons for fun, and has a weird obsession with 80s horror movies. I'm more grounded, a software engineer, kind of the classic introvert to her extrovert. Opposites attract, I guess. Things were good, really good. But from very early on, Natalie was super vocal about one thing. She did not believe in marriage. I remember our 3rd or 4th date, over tacos and margaritas, when she casually dropped, "Marriage is a trap, honestly. Just a legal document to complicate things when it ends. Why ruin a good relationship with paperwork?" She laughed after saying it, but I could tell she meant it. And over the years, that sentiment never changed. Anytime marriage came up, friends getting engaged, celebrity weddings, anything, she'd make some snarky remark like, "Give it 3 years," or hope they kept their receipts. So, I never brought it up. Even though deep down, I've always wanted to get married someday. My parents have been together 35 years. I grew up seeing their kind of love, the steady, loyal, no matter what kind. And I guess I believed in that kind of forever. I loved Natalie. Still do. But I started to accept that maybe my future didn't need to include a ring or a wedding if it meant I got to be with her. Still, the thought lingered, especially when my brother, Jason, proposed to his girlfriend last Thanksgiving. That night, as we were driving home from the family dinner, I gently asked Natalie, "Do you think you'll ever change your mind about marriage?" She was quiet for a moment before answering. "I just don't see the point. I don't want our love to be validated by a contract. If I'm with you, I'm with you. Isn't that enough?" I nodded. "Yeah, it is. But it's stung a little. Not because I didn't believe her commitment, but because I wanted that moment. That celebration. That symbolic step. Not for validation, but because it mattered to me. I didn't push. I respected her honesty. I buried the part of me that dreamed of a proposal and a wedding and leaned into what we had. And it was still great. Trips together, lazy Sundays, building IKEA furniture without killing each other. Real stuff. Good stuff. Fast forward to a few months ago. My mom invited the whole family to her 60th birthday dinner, big restaurant gathering, all the cousins, aunts, uncles. I told Natalie she didn't have to come, knowing how overwhelming those things could be. But she smiled and said, "Of course I'm coming. I love your family. Besides, your mom makes better pie than you do." I thought nothing of it. Just another family night, another event where Natalie would crack jokes with my dad, talk skincare with my sister-in-law, and avoid the aunt who always asks when we're getting married. But I had no idea what was actually coming. The restaurant was packed that night, dim lighting, clinking glasses, the occasional burst of laughter from a nearby table. My mom had booked the private back room for her 60th, so it was just family. Lots of it. Over 25 people. Natalie and I showed up a little late, as usual, and the whole table cheered when we walked in like we were royalty or something. She gave everyone hugs like she'd been born into the family, and I couldn't help but smile watching her talk to my mom like old friends. Dinner went as expected. Lots of food, wine, my dad embarrassing me with childhood stories about how I once got my head stuck in the porch railing. Natalie was laughing so hard, she nearly snorted. Everything felt normal. Then came dessert. The waiter brought out this massive chocolate cake with "Happy 60th, Diane," written in icing, and everyone sang while my mom pretended to hate the attention. After she blew out the candles, my dad stood up to give a small toast, thanking everyone for coming, reminiscing about how they met, and joking that he still didn't know how he'd convinced my mom to stick around for 35 years. Everyone awed and clapped. Then Natalie stood up. At first, I thought she was just being polite, maybe offering to help serve cake or make a quick toast. But she picked up her glass, cleared her throat, and smiled at everyone. "I'm sorry to interrupt the cake moment," she began, "but I just wanted to say something, and I figured, what better time than when we're all here?" A few people chuckled. My Aunt Linda whispered something to my cousin, probably assuming a pregnancy announcement. I was still confused. Natalie turned to my parents. "First off, happy birthday, Diane. You've always treated me like one of your own, and I've never forgotten that. And to both of you, you've shown me something I never thought I'd believe in." Now I was blinking fast, trying to process what was happening. She glanced at me, then took a deep breath. "I used to think marriage was a trap," she said, and a few people laughed. Not mockingly, but like they were in on the joke. And for a long time, I stood by that. But then I met him. She looked right at me. Cue the butterflies in my chest. And he never pressured me. Not once. He never made me feel like I had to change. He just loved me. Completely, patiently, even when I didn't believe in the same things. But over time, something shifted. I watched how he treats people, how he loves quietly and steadily, how he never gave up on us. She paused, reached into her bag, and that's when it clicked. No way. My heart was thudding like crazy. I heard gasps around the table. She pulled out a small box, opened it, and inside was a simple silver ring. Elegant. Totally her style. She turned to me and said, "So, here's me doing something I swore I'd never do. I love you. And if you still want it, if you still believe in it, then I want it too. Will you marry me?" The room went dead silent. All I could do was stare. Everyone was frozen. My mom's eyes were glassy. My brother's jaw was open. Natalie looked nervous, the most nervous I'd ever seen her. I stood up slowly, reached for her hand, and smiled. Yes. Of course yes. She exhaled, laughed, and the room erupted in cheers. I had never been more stunned, or more sure of anything in my life. After the applause died down and the hugging started, everything felt like a blur. People were crying, laughing. My mom literally started fanning herself with a napkin, muttering, "I did not see that coming." My dad raised his glass again and shouted, "Now that's how you steal the show." Even my stoic older brother, who once said his wedding was just a buffet with paperwork, looked genuinely touched. Natalie's hands were shaking, even as she tried to act cool about it. "You okay?" I whispered while we stepped aside from the table for a second. She nodded. "I was terrified," she admitted. "I kept thinking you might feel weird about me doing it first, or that you'd still be hurt I waited this long. I didn't know how to put into words how I felt right then. Shocked, yeah. Overwhelmed. But mostly, I was just full. In the best possible way. The truth was, I'd let go of the idea of a proposal years ago. I figured Natalie was my forever, with or without rings. I'd made peace with that. But now getting both, her, in the moment I always imagined, it was more than I ever expected. When we sat back down, everyone had a million questions. How long had she been planning it? 2 months. Why tonight? She said she wanted to do it surrounded by people who loved us both. Did she ask anyone for help? Just my sister-in-law, who helped her pick the ring. I didn't even know what kind of ring guys like, she said, laughing. Pinterest is useless for men's rings. It's just wood grain and antlers. She nailed it, though. The ring was subtle and clean, a matte silver band with a tiny engraved mountain range on the inside. She said it reminded her of our hiking trip in Colorado 2 years ago. That trip was where we'd first talked, really talked, about our future. After dinner, my mom pulled me aside while everyone was still buzzing. "I'm so proud of her," she said quietly. "You know, she asked for my blessing last week. Said she didn't believe in tradition, but wanted to honor what mattered to you." That hit me harder than I expected. Natalie always stood firm in her beliefs. She never compromised herself. But in this moment, she hadn't changed who she was. She'd just evolved. And she'd done it for us. Later that night, when we finally got back home, it felt like we were both too wired to sleep. We were sitting on the couch, half-dressed, shoes still on, just staring at each other like, what the hell just happened? She leaned her head on my shoulder. "So fiancé, huh?" I grinned. "Took you long enough." She laughed. "You know, I still don't believe in weddings with 300 people and ice sculptures. But I do believe in this. In you. In building something official. Together. We'll do it our way," I said. "Small ceremony. No antler rings. Maybe tacos." She looked up. "Definitely tacos." That was the night we started planning. Not just the wedding, but our life. And as cliché as it sounds, it was better than anything I ever pictured. Not because she changed who she was, but because she chose us in the most unexpected, real, unforgettable way. She used to say marriage was a trap. Now she says it's the best decision she almost didn't make. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.